Well, yes, indeed, Marco. We're turning our attention now to election matters. It's the INEC report on the administrative panel report on the Rivers rerun election, which happened in 2016. Well, now we have Mr. Solomon Shoyabi, who is the National Commissioner, Voter Education and Publicity for INEC. He's here in our extreme right. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much.
We have Briggs, the rights activist. Thank you for coming and good to see you again.
Thank you. Good morning.
And then we have Mr. Nnamdi Omoni, who is the Public Relations Officer for River State Police Command. Thank you for coming on as well.
Thank you very much.
Let me start with you, Mr. Shoyabi. This is your report, our next report, administrative panel. For the benefit of hindsight, could you give us a background into why this report was necessary and then how the report came about?
Thank you very much. If you recall very clearly, Rivers had about 37 elections annulled by the tribunals out of the 47 that we had in the 2015 elections. We were ordered to run these elections. We made frantic efforts to do this in March 19, 2016. It was marked by violence. There was a lot of violence there, and unfortunately we even lost one with copper during that run in March. Yet it was still inconclusive. After much pressure, careful consultations, we consulted with a lot of stakeholders, including clergymen and some prominent members in Rivers State. It took us about 9 months to go back to Rivers after assurances that the environment was ripe and ready for the conclusion of the remaining 22.
Who assured you?
The security apparatus and even the key players themselves. We held meeting with nearly all the contestants, the political parties. We had a lot of ADR, which took place in about 3 or 4 layers for us to ensure that we could conclude these elections. And eventually we went back into these elections in December, I think 10th of December 2016 for concluding. It was about the only, apart from the Anambra Central Senatorial District, those were the remnants of the rerun elections. So we went there in 2016, and to our dismay that the atmosphere was not really what it ought to be. There was violence again. It was becoming a recurring decimal in Rivers. So we decided that we would set up an administrative commission of inquiry into what really happened in Rivers the 3rd time. This was led by Professor K. Biano. It consisted of 4 members to look at what actually went wrong again in Rivers. And this committee came up with this report. So this basically is INEC's report.
So is the police aware of the report?
Well, let me put it this way. In the history of the commission, this is the most important, this is the most popular report. Because number one, we made it available to everybody, the members of the ICSES at our regular meetings. We make this available to them, and not only the police, every security apparatus in the country was given a copy of this report, and other stakeholders too, including our CSO. But more curiously, if you recall, this was even a report that gained some interest from an unknown and unwarranted or unknown and a mysterious member of the public. It was published in about 22 different newspapers nationwide. Up till today, we could not even unravel that mystery. So we made this report available to everybody that was a stakeholder in the election, including every member of ICSES.
Mr. Money, he says the police is aware of this report.
Actually, the police, we got to the report, and based on that report, the Inspector General of Police and the Police High Command constituted a panel, headed by Deputy Inspector General of Police and the other senior officers to look into that report. And at the end of it, it was discovered that the man in question, ACP Akifakrudi, then CSP, was exonerated by that panel. He was found.
Which of the panel?
The panel is considered by the Inspector Police to look into the allegations raised in that report by INEC. You know, but whatever it is, so we are not even lending any credence to that report, because in the first place,
that's the INEC report.
Yes, the INEC report. For whatever it was, what the edge effect, it was necessary to go into it. But as far as we are concerned, our position is that report is even tainted with a lot of irregularities, because there were
like what?
A lot of irregularities.
What kind of irregularities?
You know, for instance, you know, in a report of that manner, the players, the defendants, so to speak, and the person of ACP was not invited for the presentation. Neither even the members of the INEC, Mary Tukoya, was not also invited. Her representation was not made. So how could they have gone behind them, behind these players, to come up with such a report? So for us,
we know that INEC, in drawing up this report, relied on a couple of things: desk reviews. It also relied on oral evidence. It also relied on detailed interviews to come up with this findings of theirs. Did INEC at any point, for instance, talk to Mr. Akin Fakorede, or any of the officials or officers in the River State Police Command?
I will tell you that categorically we did not speak to anybody outside the commission. We relied.
So this is purely an
internal administrative.
You didn't feel the need to talk to those people too?
No, because it was an administrative inquiry. What we are trying to do is to make sure that we use this report and find this to improve on our operations, and then find this we add will be forwarded to the relevant components of election. For instance, you will say that we did not invite anybody from NYSC, but we deemed it fit to even give employment to 2 members of NYSC that performed exceptionally. We employed them automatically. We didn't have to invite them to do that. Then number 2, about the police that you're talking about, I can't even put names on their faces. We knew that there was one that we
but your report did put name.
Yeah, I know. I'm talking. I can't quote the name correctly. There were 2 major policemen there. One was commended. The DPO for one local government was commended for the work that he has done, while the other one, I think that's the faculty we're talking about, was actually frowned at for the way he treated our staff. 2 of them were battered, and then it was complete in the battering of these 2 people, Dekpe and Mary. So the reports...
Was this reported to the police at the time?
It's in the inquiry. It's in the report. We did not even know this. We knew Ahmed were in the hospital. We were looking after them. It was after that they were discharged that we got all these reports from them, that we now, it was the inquiry that brought out all this, and the report was made public to everybody that was concerned with the conduct of the election.